Ivan, methods come and methods go.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is the DIY Detail Podcast. Today we're going to investigate a method that came to popularity about 15, 20 years ago and now is dying off.
The two-bucket method. Yes,
Exactly.
Indeed. I was always a little suspect of the two-bucket method, but it felt safe to me, right? You have your wash bucket with the grit guard, and your rinse bucket with the grit guard. And the idea is you wash, you dip in the wash bucket full of suds, then you dip your rag or your wash mitt back into the rinse bucket, and that's where all the dirt lands. Tell me about the two-bucket method, Ivan, and why we believe, especially you, that it is dead.
Well, the two-bucket method works. No doubt about it. Is it as efficient as it should be? No. Is it as safe as it could be? No. And a couple of reasons. First of all, let's explain what we prefer, which is the two foam method. And the two foam method is we foam the vehicle, we let the foam dwell, we let the incredible suds do what it needs to do, and then we rinse off the vehicle. When we're rinsing off the vehicle, we have the lubrication from the incredible suds, we have the emulsification from the incredible suds, and it's taking all the grit off the vehicle. The only thing it's leaving behind is traffic film. So there's nothing there to really scratch the paint. Then we foam it again. We take our wash mitt or our wash media, and in one single bucket, we use that to wash the car. And in all honesty, we could do it without a bucket. There's some people in Australia that call it the no bucket method, and they foam, rinse, foam, and then just go at it with a wash mitt.
Just one wash mitt?
Just one wash mitt, because you've removed all the grit. This is where I feel that the two bucket method sort of falls short. And a lot of people, what they'll do is, first of all, they pressure wash the car. So pressure washing the car without having any soap on it, without having any lubrication, that's already a scratch risk. It's a little controversial, but think about it. You've got 1,000 or 1,500 PSI hitting that piece of dirt and scraping it along the paint until the water can get underneath it and lift it away. So we have one risk that we're introducing there. The next risk is some people won't even foam the car. They just rinse it off. Then they immediately go to the car with their soapy wash mitt coming out of the one bucket, so the wash bucket. Then they bring it back to the rinse bucket. They put it in there. They let it sit for a second, maybe hit it up against the grit guard, and then go to their soap bucket and go back to the vehicle. Again, there's still grit on the vehicle at this point. Yes, the pressure washing has taken some of it off, but it's not as efficient as foaming it first. So
I can already hear the people at home. There's a few of them online.
I can hear the keyboard now.
Yeah, it's just washing a car. You guys are making this sound so complicated. Or some get offended that we go down this rabbit hole, and then others get offended that we go down the rabbit hole and they think that we took the wrong turn.
Right. And let's just preface that, and you can stop typing right now. There's no real wrong way of doing it. If the method you're using works for you and you're happy with it, keep on it. Not a problem.
Right.
And yes, washing a car can be as simple as taking out the garden hose, throwing some water on it, throwing a bit of soap on it, and going at it with a wash mitt. If you don't mind the scratches that inflicts on your vehicle, fine. But
some people don't.
Yeah, some people don't, and that's great. It's their own vehicle. They can do what they want with it. But if you're a professional, if you're a detailer, and you're doing this for customers, you don't want to be the one scratching their car. And at home, if you have that pride and joy, that car that you've always wanted, and finally you have it, and you want to keep it as pristine and as clean and as perfect as possible, that's why we're going down the rabbit hole with you. But anyways, so the two bucket method, where the big flaw, so that's the one way of doing the two bucket method. The other way is they'll foam the car, and then they go at it with a wash mitt. Again, they haven't rinsed the car off, or they'll rinse first, then they foam it, then they go after it with the wash mitt, but using the two bucket method. And again, you have the wash bucket that has the soap in it, then you have the rinse bucket. The rinse bucket, I know you used to do the two bucket wash in your shop when you were doing that sort of thing. And if you notice that there's a lot of stuff that floats in that rinse bucket. So sure, you're putting your mitt in there, but as you pull the mitt out, you're pulling some of that grit back out onto the mitt, putting it into your wash bucket. And if you look at the grit guard in the wash bucket, so if you do a two bucket wash method at home, When you're done washing, just let the bucket sit for a day. And then look what's under the grit guard. Apparently, that rinse bucket is supposed to eliminate all the dirt in your wash bucket. Look what's under the grit guard in your wash bucket. There will be dirt there because it's not eliminating everything. Now, if you do the foam, rinse, foam, and then contact wash, you'll have a lot less in that bucket than you do if you had done the 2-bucket method. The other reason for the foam, rinse, foam, we love playing with the foam cannon. It's fun. But secondly, it's more efficient. So you're not wasting time going back and forth to buckets. And a lot of people, thankfully, when they're doing the 2-bucket method, they'll have their buckets on a cart and roll both buckets around with them at the same time. So that's aiding in efficiency. But some people don't do that. So they're walking back and forth to the car, to the bucket, to the car, to the bucket. And their buckets may not be placed at the same place. So it gets really confusing. And if you have a new employee or a student or your son or your daughter working with you, then it can be confusing as well, because sometimes they'll dunk in the wash bucket first and go, oh, yeah, I forgot. And then go into the rinse bucket and then back to the wash bucket, and you've negated the whole idea behind the rinse bucket the second you do that.
I mean, this is getting more complicated the more we're talking about it. I didn't think that was possible. I thought it was a pretty simple subject. But you could do foam, rinse, foam, and then 2 buckets if you want, right? You can add layers of redundancy that you think might be safer.
You can do a 26-bucket wash if you want.
Yeah, you can do 10 nice plush towels and never take a towel to paint more than once, right? Use one side, you're done. Flip sides. We've done a video about the 10 towel rinseless wash method. You could do that for soap method as well. And I'll try to put a link in the comments below to that video. But I guess what I wanted to ask is, you mentioned 2 different things. I thought that was really interesting. Grit and traffic film. And sometimes I think we just throw everything in one bucket of words. Grit, grime, traffic film.
Yeah, it's just dirt,
risk,
washing off the car.
Whatever, right? But talk about the difference between grit and traffic film and how those are getting removed or being left on the paint throughout this process.
So grit is a physical chunk of something. And that could be dust, that could be pollen, that could be anything that's abrasive. Traffic film is oils. It's basically oils. And going down the road, you'll have that, the old car that doesn't necessarily try to save the environment as it's going down the road. It's got sort of a cloud behind it. You've got diesel trucks that have what are called road tubes, which are essentially, they're literally taking from the valve cover a tube that goes down to the ground, and any blow-by that they're getting just goes to the atmosphere. It's not legal anymore. They stopped doing that about 15 years ago, but there's still a lot of trucks on the road that do that, a lot of diesels. The other thing is you have tires that wear off as they're going down the road. So you have all this stuff that accumulates on the road itself. Some of it is airborne, like following that diesel truck, but some of it accumulates on the asphalt. And then when it rains, that stuff gets sprayed up onto the car. So the rain emulsifies all that oil. As we're driving down the road, it creates mist and it goes all over the vehicle. And that's where we get that traffic film from. Back when I started detailing, we just called it dirt. The car is dirty. But now, the detailing industry is getting more perfected as we go. People are loving going down these rabbit holes, and some people go down the rabbit hole really, really deep and really break down what these things are. So if you're interested in going down the rabbit hole, here we go. What we're breaking it down is we have the traffic film, and that is that little oily sort of substance that you could pressure wash, you could foam it, and it's still sort of there. Some of the foams, like Incredible Suds, does a great job in removing a lot of the traffic film, but there's always going to be that little bit of traffic film. Then you have the grit. So we have the pollen, we have the dust, we have the you've driven down a gravel road, what have you. That's on the vehicle as well. So the foam, rinse, foam method, we're starting with foam on a dry vehicle. Now that foam, first of all, gets deposited lightly by the foam cannon. Secondly, it is emulsifying that dirt, breaking it down, and lifting it off the surface. So then when we do hit it with the pressure washer, it's already encapsulated in the Incredible Suds, and a lot of it has already come off the vehicle because we let the Incredible Suds sort of work their way down the vehicle as we're going. Then When we rinse it, we're taking all the grit off the vehicle. And what we're left behind is the traffic film. Then we do the foam again, contact wash, and we have a nice clean car. One thing that some people do, and they do this, shall we say, misguidedly. They may have misunderstood what a ceramic coating can do, or they, followed someone else, or what have you. But they will foam the vehicle, rinse it, and then blow dry. So they're doing a non-contact wash. That, unfortunately, no matter what foam you're using, you could even use a straight APC if you wanted, you're still going to have a little bit of that traffic film on your vehicle. So that is, and the blow drying is great, but that contact wash, as far as I'm concerned, is an essential part of a real deep cleaning. And
we've done touchless wash videos before.
Yeah,
but we don't do them very often. We're showing you this can be done. Here's certain steps you take. We used every product in our lineup, and then we pressure washed it off. We gave it dwell time. We did it in a controlled environment without sun. We used decal. We used water spot remover. We used all clean. We used incredible suds, right? And then we used quick beats, so we didn't have to actually wipe. And then we used the master blaster to air dry, and it did a really good job. But like, contact washing is crucial no matter how good your chemicals are. Some agitation is necessary. One question folks ask a lot, and I usually answer incredible suds, because I feel like we did this test on and I love our rinseless wash. I think it cleans better than any of the ones I've ever used. So I won't say that it does, but based on my experience and what people are telling us, they're like, I was skeptical about rinseless washing because I've used this brand for years, but yours really does seem to clean the best that I've ever used. So I stand by that as well. I think that's the truth about a rinseless wash. But we did a side-by-side foam video on your bus.
Right.
And we pre-treated it with incredible suds, rinseless wash, and all clean. I feel like incredible suds, when we gave it dwell time, that thing cleaned like a beast. So people ask, which one do you want to have to foam first if you're doing the foam rinse foam? And I like incredible suds, Ivan. Tell me what your scientific belief is, or which one cleans the best in terms of the dwell time.
So it depends what's on the vehicle. Again, if it's grit, the incredible suds and the rinseless do a better job. If it's heavy oils and traffic film and a lot of traffic film, then the incredible suds breaks through that better, the all clean breaks through it better than the incredible suds or the rinseless wash. The incredible suds and the rinseless wash are both equal on the pH scale, and how they're applied really makes a difference. So if we were to take incredible suds, diluted the way we dilute it, and just pour it on the vehicle, and then pour the rinseless wash on the vehicle, the rinseless would actually do a better job. But incredible suds, because of its spectacular foaming ability, that foam is what's helping it get into and break down that dirt and that traffic film even better. Because what happens with the foam is, as you're foaming, you're putting on a layer of product, right? It's there. Every time a bubble bursts, you're putting on new activated ingredients onto the surface. Another bubble burst, more active ingredients, and it keeps doing that. So back when I was watching TV in the 80s, there were scrubbing bubble commercials, or scrubbing bubbles or something like that, a bathroom cleanser. And they're saying the bubbles are doing the scrubbing. Well, in reality, they are. But the rinseless wash is a more active cleaner, if I can put it that way. But the incredible suds, once you add the foam to it, it becomes more active than the rinseless. So if you're just pouring 1-to-1 on each surface, the rinseless will do a better job. But if you're foaming on, then the incredible suds takes over.
Yeah, and that's what I commented on our YouTube channel the other day. Someone asked, which one do you prefer? And I just wrote foam. And I didn't mean to denigrate the idea of spraying on our rinseless wash out of a sprayer. That does a great job of pre-treating paint. But if you can foam on incredible suds and let it dwell, again, I don't want you to do this in direct sunlight. I don't want it to dry on you. But if you let it dwell and then you rinse it off, then you put more incredible suds on the paint and you're ready for that contact wash, and it is so slick. The paint is so much cleaner. What is the purpose, Ivan, of the foam rinse foam, right? I think I know, right? I like to play dumb, but it intuitively it's lubrication, and it's another layer of cleaning power before you contact wash. What's happening on that second foam?
So the second foam, you hit the nail on the head, lubrication. We're just wanting to have more of that incredible suds on the surface before we put the wash mitt on. So now we're guaranteeing ourselves that when we put the wash mitt on the surface, it's not the wash mitt that's contacting the surface. There is a layer of foam between the two. And that layer of foam is providing safety, it's providing lubrication, and it's giving us a guarantee that it's there. So your wash mitt, when you pull it out of the, your wash thing, wash bucket, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So when you pull it out of your bucket, yes, it will have some foam on it, but it's not the same. You're in the wash bucket, it's a little more diluted than what we have on the surface. And at the same time, it's not as thick, it's not as foamy. Yes, you can really foam up the wash bucket if you want, hit it with the pressure washer and you'll get an explosion of foam coming out of your bucket. But still, unless you're consciously grabbing foam on your way out of the bucket, having that little extra layer of foam on the car is protection. The other thing is the foam dries slower than just water on the vehicle. So as we're going around the vehicle, the foam is providing a buffer preventing water spots.
Really? So the foam dries slower than the water would if we had just rinsed it and not foamed again?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like I've done this a million times, but I didn't know that. That's why.
It slows down the evaporation rate. And by slowing down the evaporation rate, we're reducing the risk of water spots. We're not eliminating, we're reducing the risk of water spots.
And then what's coming off in our bucket then? Because people might say, well, I'm still seeing, again, I know it's not the grit, it's the traffic film. But again, you've got your bucket. It may be getting murky or something. I don't know. It depends on the vehicle and how you've done this. But if you start to see stuff in your bucket, should you be worried thinking Ivan was lying to me? I should have used the 2-bucket method. If
you're only doing one car, honestly, your bucket shouldn't get much of anything in it. If you've done the pre-foam, let it dwell, rinse, and foam again, they'll be very minimal in your bucket. The other thing is your selection of wash media. A lot of people. I was doing a video with Pan the organizer yesterday. So Pan, a good friend of the channel, and occasionally I go do videos on his channel, and he uses a chenille noodle wash mitt. That's his preferred wash mitt. We can argue up and down. We can scientifically prove it to him that that's probably the worst wash mitt you could use. But you look at his car, there's not a scratch on it. It's in beautiful shape, and he drives his car daily. It's not a garage queen. It sits outside a lot. It gets driven. They just recently got asphalt on the road. So up until a couple months ago, he was on a dirt road, meaning that his car got dirty. But he does the foam, the rinse, the foam, and the 2-bucket method. So he's, really safety. That's his priority on his car. And again, it takes him longer to wash a car than it does you and I, but he's having fun doing it. And that is...
He's Pan. Come on now. He better be having fun.
Exactly. And that's the whole point here, is there are a lot of different ways, a lot of different methods of washing your car. And it's, what do you want to get out of it? For some people, it's, I just want my car to look clean from 5 feet away. Great. Go to the car wash. For some people, it's, I want to maintain it. I want to keep it looking good, but I don't really see the swirls and stuff on my car. So it's not a big deal. And if I get a little swirl here and there, I'll polish it out later. So that's another way of looking at it. Then you have the people that it's their pride and joy. It's their baby. It's their, they've saved up for years to get this one particular car. And now they're wanting to maintain it the best way possible. So there is no best way possible. There's a lot of really good ways and unfortunately some bad ways. But the really good ways are what we're showing on our channel. We've never shown taking a dry car and taking a wash mitt to it. We've never shown taking a dry car and taking a rinseless wash sponge to it because it's not safe. And we're not going to show anything on our channel that we know isn't safe. So that is something.
Especially if Ivan does it, okay? Especially if Ivan. Every once in a while, I play with fire. I did spray down the Fiat once without pre-treating it to try to look cool in a video. Like it had a bunch of dirt on the hood. And I think I sprayed it in lines So there's probably like a TikTok video out there of me doing that. But no, we haven't done rinseless wash on the panel without pre-treating it first.
No.
And, 99.9% of the time, it's safe. And the ones that weren't were me, so I'll take the fall on those.
Yeah. But basically, there's a lot of different ways of looking at washing a car. And like we said, there's nothing inherently wrong with the 2-bucket method, but I think it's past its prime. The foam rinse foam, we can prove it to anyone that it is a safer method than the 2-bucket wash method. Yes, it may take a few seconds longer to put that second layer of foam on, but it's fun. It's easy. It's not a very difficult thing, and you're not using a lot of extra. You're not using any extra for that matter. I don't think we've ever had to reload our foam cannon other than when we washed my bus.
No, and I've mentioned this in videos we've done where we'll start with the original foam cannon, we'll use it, right?
Right.
And we'll rinse off, and then we'll click the quick connect back, and there may be a little bit of suds left. So you can do one or two things. You can leave it like that, or you can add some water to that. But even if it comes out as a thinner foam the second time around, like you've said, that's not crucial. You're just providing that lubrication. We've done a lot of the heavy work already. This is a step for redundancy. And then we also have the incredible suds on our wash mitt.
Exactly. So
do you like filling it up? Do you like filling it up with water or just leaving it straight for that second step?
Well, if you if the first time around you only used half of the contents of your foam cannon, then you can make it around a second time with that same amount. If the first time you use 20 ounces and you have a 32-ounce foam cannon, well, you're down to 12 ounces, fill it back up to 20 or 24 ounces, and then go at it again.
Just with water, though. Yeah.
Yeah, just with water. You don't need to add more incredible suds. There's a very limited difference between using 1 ounce and 2 ounces of incredible suds in your foam cannon. The line, you really have to think about it to see that, oh yeah, it is making a difference or it isn't making a difference. Overusing incredible suds isn't going to help you. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to help you. We don't mind it because you're buying more product from us, but that's not the point. Yeah, that's not the point of what we want you to be doing. So
yeah, honestly though, it looks cool. Come on now, Ivan.
Yes, it does.
And that's what it's about with foam for me.
That thick shaving cream foam.
Rinseless.
Yeah, is good. So
Sylvie's in the back, rinseless.
Yeah. Well, rinseless is another method. We've done a lot of content on rinseless, so we'll let you go watch another podcast on a rinseless method. But it's there.
Okay, we'll put a link to the 10 towel method and the safest rinseless wash method. We've done a video on that, so both those are going to be links in the description below, plus a link on how you can get incredible suds. As always, we appreciate everybody watching, Ivan.
Exactly, and one thing that a lot of people don't know, we always do premieres for all our videos. And if you've noticed that, if you actually tune in during the premiere, we have a live chat going on at the same time. So you can chat with Nick and I and a whole bunch of other people that are there. Some are regulars. Every time we get new people coming in, and there's usually 60 to 80 people joining in on the chat, having fun, discussing the topic in general, but also just hi, how's it going? What's going on in their lives? What they watched this week or what they detailed this week. So it's a lot of fun. So when you see our videos, we have premieres. They're scheduled ahead of time, so you can go to our channel and you can even ask Google or YouTube to notify you that, hey, this premiere is showing up. It's time to go watch it. So
well, yeah, and I don't know if you've ever tried in detailing or on some other channel asking a question, and sometimes you get it answered. Like we answer all of our YouTube comments, right? So we're going to answer your questions. But sometimes you don't get notified when those questions get answered if it's on a YouTube comment from an older video. Like in this chat, if you ask a question on how to do something, not only will myself or Ivan answer, but there's a bunch of people who will give you advice. So actively, you could ask a question, get an answer, ask a follow-up, and you can kind of problem solve things that you may be seeing in your detailing world in real time with people who actually really care about the stuff. So that's what I like about it too. We often get some good questions in there.
Yeah, excellent. With that, I think we're done for today.
All right. See you guys in the next one. Oh, and they should probably click on this video right here.